Being rejected from the 702 Fibonacci retracement zone, should we be concerned? Guys, in this video, we're going to dive into the technical analysis for Polkadot. We're going to dive into the weekly, the daily, and the hourly to see exactly what is going on with the price action of DOT. We're also going to check the 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗪 dashboard to see if there is any problems with the underlying data for this cryptocurrency. If you find this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not subscribe? Tap the bell, select all notifications, and you will not miss another update. Right, with all that said, done, out of the way, let's dive into this technical analysis here for Polkadot. We're going to start with this weekly chart, guys, just talk through what we're seeing here. We obviously have seen a good surge to the upside with this third wave, and ultimately we actually saw some pretty interesting kind of price targets with this, right? We actually saw us come up to the $49 range before coming down in this healthy correction towards this lower area of $10. This was a fantastic opportunity if you missed on the way up to basically build a nice position in Polkadot. From here, we have seen a nice surge and a good recovery, if you will, to the upside so far, but we have found rejection at the 702 fib area. Now, currently, we are looking at a 4.236 extension of $177. This represents 385% from the current position. This should be a target that we should all have in mind and something that is relatively quite easy for Polkadot to do, as we have seen Solana do some very similar moves not too recently. Obviously, we can see that we are looking to try to get above the 786, and we're going to get into the smaller timeframes to review whether or not that's likely to happen soon, or we're going to have a pullback first. We can see that the stochastic is in the overbought area, and this is not a problem. This is an area that we have been tracking before for several months, in the same way that we are down in the oversold area for a couple of months as well. So entering this area is actually a pretty good sign that we are looking to move up nicely to the upside on this weekly chart. Overall, the structure is looking pretty good, and we haven't really got too many things to concern ourselves with on this weekly chart. But we do obviously need to see what is going on with the smaller time frames and relation to our Fibonacci 702 area. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is jump down into our daily view. This is where we can see exactly what was going on with our fib area here. Okay, so as we said before, right, we were rejected from the 702. The 702 is a key area on the Fibonacci retracement tool. Okay, this particular area, you do have to add it manually, but it resonates really well with a lot of traders, and you do find that this is an area of resistance and support quite frequently. Here at $38.06 comes our resistance line. We can see that we've actually wicked above it and wicked to it a couple of times, and today we were rejected from this line altogether. This again is counter to what we're seeing with the rest of the crypto space, where we're seeing good surges to the upside. Bitcoin's up there at 48k at the point of recording this video, yet we are actually slipping down about 6 percentage points on Polkadot just here today. So we have actually had a bit of a recovery to that, but overall we are inside this zone. So as long as we stay above the 618 down here, which is the previous area of resistance, we should be doing okay. Then hopefully we'll be gearing up nicely to push past the 702, get above the 786, and take on the next level and get some price discovery and set some new all-time highs. Overall, the stochastic is interesting levels. This is an area that we were rejected from previously as we're approaching the 618. Bitcoin's pullback initially set in motion a nice wave to the upside here, as we did go into the oversold area and allowed us to grow nicely. What we look for at this point in time is to continue the growth back to the upside, where we can see us being tracking in the overbought area. If we can track back in this overbought area for some time, we should be in a pretty good position to continue the growth to the upside here for Polkadot. And as I indicated in our last video, loads of fantastic things are going on in the space. The ecosystem is heating up, and there is a hive of activity with new projects that are looking to launch. Overall, there's an inbox on our side full of offers for promotional content. Now, obviously, we're not just going to jump on any promo. We have to do a lot of due diligence before we actually do anything. And what we're seeing here in the part of that due diligence is a huge influx of promotional content for the Polkadot ecosystem. Overall, I think there's going to be a surge of new kind of price discovery for DOT in the very near future, as the promos and everything else will start kicking off on YouTube shortly, I would have thought, across many different channels. Overall, this is a pretty good tell of things to come, and I do think we're going to start seeing some pretty good traction in the long run here for Polkadot up towards our $177 price target, in the same way that we saw Solana hit our $185 price target. Overall, at this point in the video, we are going to jump over to the advice dashboard. We like the 𝗲𝗓 dashboard because this allows us to actually take a look at the underlying data that actually helps us understand how a cryptocurrency is working and if there are anything that we should be concerned with. There is, of course, a link to the advice.io dashboard in the description below. It is free to use. Go ahead, check it out, and you'll get a little bit more insight on your cryptocurrencies. Here we can see that Polkadot is an A2 rated overall. This is actually a pretty good indication. It is the second best that you can have within the platform, so there's not many major issues according to that. We can take a look at a little bit deeper though and dive into what they call power factors. Here we can see the 𝗕𝗓 ratio is also an A2 rating. So 𝗕𝗓 ratio relates to the liquidity, and is there any issues with the liquidity as an A2 rating? Absolutely not. So everything there's looking pretty good. We can take a look at the Fear and Greed Index here for Polkadot. This is an A1, which is the highest rating you can get here in this ecosystem of advice.io. Overall, that is indicating an extremely greedy scenario here for Polkadot, and as a result, you could start to see a lot of FOMO coming in. With that being said though, when things are extremely greedy like this is usually when traders would be taking profits. So again, we have to be monitoring that situation closely as we monitor these key areas and have these small pullbacks. Overall though, I do think that's a very bullish tale to say there's going to be a lot more FOMO, a lot more retail investors diving into the world of Polkadot very, very soon. Overall, the Sharpe ratio is an A2 rating, well above our 50-day average and tracking really well. So the risk to reward ratio is actually in our favor, which is good to see. The Polkadot moving averages, again, an A2 rating, no problem with the averages here for Polkadot either. The A1 profitability is a good indication of things to come, as that is where it has been previously. Peak end value demand at an A2. Overall, this is actually looking like a very, very good cryptocurrency to potentially be investing in. Overall, there's nothing being indicated here on the advice.io dashboard of concern. Overall, everything is looking very good, and we should be starting to see a nice push back to the upside shortly. And guys, this video has been sponsored by Cheeky Crypto, and specifically the Cardano ADA pool. If you are looking to support the channel and our effort here to communicate out all the recent kind of news, articles, price changes and price action of your favorite altcoins, then there's no better way than delegating your ADA into our stake pool. By doing so, you'll not only support the channel, but you will also earn a juicy return and a nice passive income on your ADA holdings. It's really simple to do, guys. Just load up your 𝗲𝗓 or Deadliest wallet, drop your ADA into the wallet, and then find the Cheeky Crypto pool via the ticker CHEEK. In doing so, you'll earn a nice juicy return and support the channel. There is no better time to do so, so why not delegate to Cheeky Crypto today? But let's take a look at that hourly view and see if it also comes to the same conclusion. Obviously, we have been rejected from the 702, so we have to be mindful over that. But we did actually have a good event here where we broke through the previous resistance. It wasn't that long ago since I'd done the Polkadot update. We actually was talking about potentially having a pullback at this point here as we were overbought in this area of the stochastic. But actually, we breached our trend here and we actually surged back to the upside before having a pullback. And this is an interesting tell because we started to actually track down with setting these lower highs on that way. Overall, though, our upward trend, that is where we were broken out from previously, this upward trend here, also is a tell that we could come down to this in the next few hours and actually start to bounce from this area back to the upside. Again, we are looking to get above that 702 and go after the 786, so we have to be mindful that actually we're looking for a support line, and what we could find is our trend line actually is that catalyst to see huge change to the upside. Overall, where we are sat right now from a candle point of view and a stochastic overview, we should be looking to see a pullback in the near future. Now, ultimately, that does not mean that we have to see a significant price drop. Actually, it's more that we need to see the momentum drop out of our stochastic and allow us to trade sideways. We are, of course, falling down a little bit, but we will eventually stabilize, and it looks like we are stabilizing in a nice area just here around the $36 range. So a small pullback could be something that we could see, but ultimately I do think that we are likely to continue this push as we come closer and closer to our trend line to the upside. Overall, there are no real major issues here when it comes to Polkadot. We can, of course, just draw on this downward trend so you can see that a little bit clearer. So basically, we're kind of inside this channel here, heading towards this upward trend. Ultimately, there's nothing major on the kind of the larger timeframes. The weekly is looking very good. The daily is looking very good. And we just need to kind of get through this small time volatility here on the shorter timeframes. And with that being done and out of the way, we should start to see a pretty good surge to the upside. My anticipation would be that we'd come down to this trend line here, coming into tomorrow afternoon, where potentially we could then see this spike above the 702 going after the 786. Again, we will be looking to potentially have a pullback once we do get to that top line and then break through and test that as our new support. Overall, we are probably a few weeks away from good traction, but everything is moving along nicely. Timing is the hardest thing to gauge though, guys, so just kind of bide your time, be patient, and you should hopefully start to see some pretty interesting moves here with Polkadot. Overall though, I am pretty impressed with the progress so far, and I do think we are likely to see some interesting price targets get acquired in the very near future. I'm going to leave that here, guys, so if you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.